Hello traders, morning video. Give you a rundown of what I'm seeing this morning. We have a responsive bid in the Nasdaq this morning, which typically what you want to see is your Nasdaq and your Russell to lead. But the Russell's been dead money for quite some time here lately, so that's not really, it doesn't really help out too much. Basically, we have uh, about 70% higher volume on the Nasdaq versus the S&P right here, and it's really important to realize at 8:30 today, GDP is going to hit the tape, and I like coming in at 7:15 every morning, seeing how many stocks or options or whatever are trading over 100,000 shares. Well, this morning we've got very, very light volume. This run up in the markets in the overnight session, this all can be erased real quick depending on how the data comes out this morning. But I am bullish to markets. The markets are trying to put in higher value areas today. So we'll see how the GDP comes out and see how the markets react to the numbers. But basically, in my pre-market movers, there is basically zero stocks that, 65,000, that is just ridiculous. That's low. Nobody's positioning themselves for any big moves on GDP. Now, we do have movers in the Nasdaq, some pretty big movers, but they're moving on very light volume. So just keep that in mind that they can quite easily fade the morning pop that we're seeing right here. Okay. Now let me get into my rundown here. Okay, traders. Like I pointed out, the Nasdaq's leading right here. Right now, we are poking out above a significant resistance zone, algo level, for the Nasdaq. And value actually for this week, it should be the 167.50 area for the Nasdaq. So if we do happen to get some, fairly solid GDP numbers, which I think is going to happen because, we are in a bull market still. If the numbers come out, a little bit better than expected here, I can see a significant bid here in the Nasdaq, since we are clearing above a significant resistant area before the market opens. And this is what I want to see for critical algo levels. I want to see them breaking out on the open of the markets. I don't really like coming down from the bottom and trying to break out, in midday sessions or something like that. I want to see it first thing in the morning to keep the trend intact for the day. So, like I said, the volumes are really low, and 8:30 is when the numbers come out, and my video is being produced before that. So we'll see how the numbers come out, but I am still to the bullish side, thinking we're going to have a very good day setting up here in the markets. Okay, the GDP still hasn't hit the tape. It's 7:52 in the morning when I'm doing this right here. The SPY is another one. We are pushing out above a critical algo level on a low volume node. Very bullish setup for continuation on the open. 272. 86 is the volume point of control for the week. That is the logical target area if this market starts catching some legs here. Okay, your VX futures. Really important to note, we are right here, of course, right here, right now, testing a coming down to a venom line. We are at day lows on our VX futures. So I figure this is staying heightened until the data comes out. But I am expecting a breakdown. Once it starts breaking down below 1830 or 1832 area, the markets are really going to start lifting this morning, potentially lifting this morning. So we'll see how GDP numbers come out. But like I said, this is a low volume node on the VX futures. So like I said, the bell curve, this is either an extreme sell-off buy to revert to the upside for the bears, or we are breaking for the bullish side, breaking out of a critical zone. And given the price action in Salesforce last night, I'm really leaning towards the bullish side. So we'll see what happens, but the volumes are still too light to say for sure that's the direction it's going to happen. Okay. We actually had a draw in inventories last night and a build in the Cushing inventories for last week. But I want to point out we had the draw on the inventories, but we were off for Thanksgiving. Of course, you're going to have a draw for the inventories whenever 2 days of the week you're shut down. So, and then they had to build it in distillates. And they should have not had a bill in distillates going through the Thanksgiving holiday season, in my opinion. So, crude has a bearish scenario for today, and that could impact the markets to the negative side. So, we'll see what happens here. But I'm not really going to talk about anything else. We do have Tiffany came out and see if I can get this to come up. Tiffany came out, and I did not. Headline news, I wasn't too impressed with the numbers that came out. Yeah, it's taken a pretty good nosedive this morning. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods, it's going to be coming out here, and the revenues weakened on it initially had a 4.6% surge, but it does sound like the revenues were weak. So Dick's Sporting Goods, we're not going to really be seeing much action, it doesn't seem like today. So, at any rate, like I said, keep a really close eye on the GDP. The most likely scenario, because of the weekly values, we're going to sell the pop at the open. So that would be scenario one. And scenario two is that we have a really strong GDP and the markets take off and resolve to the next higher distribution off this extremely oversold situation. And like I said, mentioned in yesterday's video, the skew is really to an extreme down here on the put side. So a reversion back up away from these lows here would be warranted for a temporary short squeeze for a bounce in this bearish tape of a market. Okay, that's everything, and I will see you tomorrow probably.